Hi, welcome to Classic Car Co. Just want to give you a bit of an update on what the situation is with this engine failure at Red Bull Ring. So I've now taken the block, or the main engine gearbox up to max in Graz. I took the head up as well, basically all the equipment that he needs, and what he's going to do now is put the head back on. I should have thought about it before I stripped it, but I wanted to see what the problem was, and with a camera, I had a camera, but even with a piston down I couldn't see inside. Anyway, so he's got it all. What he's going to do now is a volumetric test on the best cylinders, and was a lot leaking. Hopefully that will be sort of 1 and 3, because 2 and 4 definitely have some. 2 is completely knackered, and 4 has shown some sign of burn already. I mean, obviously what we're trying to do here is find out what went wrong. What was either the component, or the driving technique, or the fueling, or whatever. We want to know what went wrong, because it's an expensive fix, and we need to be able to find out why this has happened. And it could be a combination of several things, but we need to know why, basically, so we can avoid this again, because we can't have, even we've used the car very little, probably I've used it under 12 hours, or sorry, 12 hours running time. Okay, it has been over a period of 2 or 3 years, or 4 years, whatever it is, but it's had very little running time. I would say under 12 hours, and it was a very expensive build, so I'll need to know why this has happened and try and avoid it the next time. So on that note, just quickly, what I'd like to say is I've had a lot of, when I use the word catastrophic, I did initially use it as a clickbait, and I don't normally do clickbait because I don't get paid for them. I am monetized, but I demonetize everything, because I don't want to be involved with the tax or any of that shit that goes on with YouTube, and they want to know this and know that. I'm not interested. But I did it, and I did it have a kind of social experiment as well, because as soon as you use a word like catastrophic or fatal or whatever, people just jump on it. And not the regular guys, but I only have a very small regular audience, which is great because that means I can write back to them all. But there was a lot of people. I mean, one of them's got over, I don't know what it is now, 5,000, I think 4,900, I can't remember. I used to get that in the early days when YouTube wasn't as crowded as it is now. So sort of 7, 8, 10 years ago, you could command that kind of, for any kind of video, you could probably get 3, 4, 5, 6,000. But the YouTube wasn't as crowded as it is now with videos. There's so many, there's billions of the solid things. Anyway, but what I wanted to explain is the problem with this vehicle is it's not modern. You know, it's an internal combustion engine with no engine management systems, no sensors, no nothing. It's as basic as you can get, and it has to be driven that way. But it was very a high performance. Everything's been built to high performance, and so in saying that, it needs to be treated that way. If you go back and look at the video when it first went out, what should have really happened is, when it started missing and it was on 3 cylinders, it should have been coaxed back to the pit and come in, and we could have took the plugs out, turned it over, got all the carbon and fouling out as much as we could, and put brand new plugs in it, which is what I would have done. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and just carrying on and keep putting fuel into the cylinder ended up being a massive overburn and a massive detonation, to the point where it started to burn the edge of the piston. And unfortunately, when it did go, it was still left running. I'm not just saying this, but if I'd have been driving it, I would have turned the engine off and coasted back, because it's all downhill anyway, and try and do the least amount of damage. But once that edge is cut, it's going to do it in minutes. So the biggest problem with this car is, or it has been right from the get-go, is you can't let it sit at idle. If you leave it idling for more than a few minutes, you will choke up the combustion chamber and certainly choke up the plugs. And so it needs to be revved. It doesn't have to be sat at 2,000, but just revved up and down, so you're getting rid of the fuel. It's a big a big Weber that's on this, and it's just constantly shoving fuel in. And it hasn't got an electronic mind. You can't say, well, no, we're not running efficiently. We won't atomise any more fuel in there. It's just going to dump it in there. And then, of course, you get to a point where it's over-fueled, the combustion chamber, and bang, the heat is so massive that it starts to burn the edge of the piston. And then we're in the position we're in. Anyway, I'm going to show you around a couple of things. It's going to be a bit of a mishmash to this, but I'll bring it up to date with some of the other stuff that's going on in here. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so there she is. He, she, whatever. Taking the head up, because obviously we want to get that inspected. I'll take the rocker shaft up, the roller rockers, in case there's any damage there. Even the push rods, we'll just check that they're not bent or there's any damage. Unfortunately, I could only get the pressure plate off. I tried. Normally you would take it off together, the clutch and the flywheel, but I don't have that three-legged puller, and Max does. I mean, he has everything for these minis. I had a two-legged puller, and I thought, well, if I take the pressure plate off, what I can do is push the backing plate backwards, and then the friction plate or the clutch plate, push it off the slide and get without, so I don't damage it with the edges. But it was just, I didn't want to go too hard on it. I thought, no, sod it, let him take it off the other way. And but there's no water and there's no oil in it, so hopefully it won't leak anywhere. Anyway, so I'll get it to Max's, and hopefully he'll let me film. Okay, so the track car now, what I'm going to do is put the top ball joints and the track rod arms back on, put the wheels back on it, throw the front on it, not screw it in, but just put it on so it's all together, because when we find out what the story is with the engine, eventually we'll have to wheel it round the block and up here and onto my ramp. This is my road Mini Cooper, which is an engine that Max did for me, and this thing does not leak a drop of oil. It's unbelievable. I've never had a Mini as good as this, and it goes like shit off a stick. A lot of money put into it, and this has a strange boot on it. It was a bit of an engineering exercise from me. So for people who don't normally watch in, you'll know about this. This is, you can see there's no hinges on the bottom as usual. This one is a side opening boot. You can see that. Unfortunately, that panel's got dirty with the tyre. So it's a back of an Audi A4 hinges that I made it out of. So it's just something a little bit different, something a bit unique. And yeah, but it's a really nice car. Goes really well. Plenty of power on it. And these are special seats I had made. And yeah, it's like a little Bentley really. But it's a great car. Very happy with it. Okay, going on to the XK. Where are we with that? Okay, so just finishing up some of the interior here. You can see the tonneau's been screwed in now. You can see the seats are back in it. The carpets. We're just fitting the lock for that cubby box there. And you might see that the fuel gauge is out. That's gone to the UK, along with the wiper motor to Coventry Autos, who will do like a B90 exchange, if you like, for want of a better. They can either service yours and get it back to you. I think the wiper motor's 300 and the gauge is 100, but you have to have the originals. So yeah, it's coming on really nice. We've just got to finish up these interior bits, and then we'll go from there. But she's looking good. And yeah, that's about where we are. Got that repair panel in, so the split is here somewhere. Let's put a new panel in there. You can just see where it's not quite finished off yet. So this is all new. Or was it split further back than that? It could be there. Yeah, I think it's there, the split, I'm not sure. But he had to cut some of it away because we wanted to keep this original. So he's actually put it in on that corner there. So if you look, you can see it's already put this one in, this repair panel, and this was completely buggered. And where the hinge goes, it's okay on that one, but this one was rotten. So he's cut this out and put a new piece in. You can see when I pull that together, it's going to be real nice. If you can with these panels, always try and keep it lower than the light cluster, because it's a difficult panel to make that, or to get it to fit. They tend to be a little bit big, and sometimes you have to cut them back and redo them. And that one has a lip inside it. You can butt weld it, but if you paint it and you put some protection on it, you can use that lip. Sometimes having two lips is not a great idea, because what happens is you can get some corrosion in behind it. But we can, because it's brand new, we've pre-prepared it, and it'll all be siliconed as well afterwards, or corked I should say. So there we are. Big difference from the way it was. So yeah, and he's stripped down both doors. There's the carcasses of the doors. As you can see, they're very flimsy when they're like this, very flimsy. But he's taken everything off ready for the two new door skins to go on. There's a new rear subframe, and all the other little bits and bobs to go on it. And had a bit of a tidy up as well by the looks. So you can see inside there in the boot how it looks. That's a bit dark. But, so he's planished all that, but it's still going to come down here. You can see in the corner here, there's still some daylight, so that's all going to be welded in. And I would guess up in that corner as well. But it's going to be a cracking shell. The attention to detail, you know, we really, if we're going to do something, we do it right. We don't piss around. I know that's easy to say, but to be honest, financially, I'd be lucky to get my money back on it. But yeah, what else would you do with it? It was too good to scrap, and it's got a bit of heritage to it. So hopefully there's somebody out there that wants it and that will love it and keep it and do, you know. But I would like to sell it as a project rather than a whole car. But we'll have to see. The market is not great at the moment. The classic car market is pretty poor, and I would imagine it's going to stay like that for at least 18 months, 2 years, if not longer. But you can see it's going to be a cracking shell. So as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby.